and Danny Green are your 1 and your 2.
Oh, get it! Oh, watch out now.
To himself, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
that could very well be a contender for Dunk of the Year, and perhaps might make its way all over the internet.
I'm with you, Clark. That's a crowd pleaser if I've ever seen one.
A dramatic improvement for the San Antonio Spurs defensively last season, guys. Coach Pop had suggested that they might have gotten too old to be an elite defensive team anymore, but that wasn't the case. I think he challenged them a little bit, and they raised the bar of their defensive performance.
Leonard dishes to Green. Spurs working the ball around now. The shot by Duncan. And it's LeBron James with the rebound.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
Bosh can't hit. And Clark, you mentioned the defensive improvement of the Spurs. Going into last season, their stat gurus told them they needed to focus even more on contesting shots, even if that meant committing more fouls or allowing more offensive rebounds.
Well, and that's exactly what they did, Kevin. They gave up a few more offensive rebounds, fouled slightly more than they had the prior season, but they were better in terms of shot blocks, steals, and they held their opponents to a lower field goal percentage. So a great example of getting an edge from advanced stats.
Splitters there. And the shot falls short this time. The Spurs have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Parker kicks to Splitter. Tries again. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
I think his ability to run the pick and roll is practically unrivaled. He sets great screens, hardly ever gets called, for moving his feet for an offensive foul, and then he reads the defender and makes a play from there.
And, once he rolls out of the screen, which he does quite well, he's flawless as a finisher if he gets the ball inside.
He misses the free throw.
Well, if you're going to learn from someone, you might as well take some lessons from Tim Duncan. That's what Thiago Splitter has done in San Antonio, really kind of growing up under the tutelage of one of the great players of all time.
Good on the second free throw. And Splitter taken 28th by the Spurs way back in the 2007 draft, but they had to wait 3 seasons, Clark, for him to come over from Spain. And as Greg Popovich was saying just this past season, he's finally showing what he can do because he's been healthy.
Yeah, agreed, Kevin, and I think it was a wait worth making, quite honestly. I mean, one of the premier backup centers in the NBA the last 3 seasons, and he earned himself a nice payday with his new contract, too.
And Miami making a change here. Battier's checked in. First 1:30 gone here in the first quarter. Parker against Chalmers. It's Parker with the drive. Open shot by Duncan. And it's good, and the assist by Parker. Duncan's got his first points in this one. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Kevin, I was able to speak with Eric Spoelstra for a moment. I asked him about how his team was going to handle the veterans of the Spurs, and he said there really isn't a whole lot that Duncan and them haven't seen, so you can't surprise them one way or another. Really, it comes down to us being as careful with the ball as they are and being efficient in our possessions. Sounds simple enough, gentlemen.
All right, Doris, thank you very much. No good on the free throw.
When something works for you, you stay with it. The Heat saw after the 2012 finals that small ball was very effective for them. You can see why they chose to do that, given how hard it is to find a power forward that can match up with LeBron. Makes good sense.
And he misses the second one as well, so he is 0 for 2 that time. And mismatches really are what make an NBA offense go at times. Not only can Miami overpower you, Steve, with their sheer talent at times, but if you're trying to guard a perimeter player with a big, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, some people still see small ball as a gimmick, but, for Miami, it's different because you've got LeBron James playing the power forward. So it's not really small ball. He can rebound, he can defend, he can do everything. And so the Heat become a nightmare to guard at the other end, and you can rarely take advantage of them offensively.
Battier kicks to Bosch. Rejected by Splitter, but he recovers it. Another shot. They shoot again, and LeBron with the layup.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
Back to Leonard. The shot misses, and Miami the other way now. He dishes it to Chalmers. Takes the 13-footer. And here in the first, approaching 3 minutes played, Green kicks to Parker. The second chance effort. And out of bounds as the Heat gain possession. Chris Anderson is checked in for Chris Bosh. The Heat trail by 4. Wade passes to Chalmers. Left side Anderson. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Talking about Chris Anderson, guys, the Birdman. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to fly last season, but he did latch on with a very good Miami Heat team who was in need of some help rebounding, which is his strength. He still can do that and block shots as well.
That one is off. And the Birdman, a fan favorite from his days in Denver. The tattoos, his kinetic style of play, certainly drawing attention.
Well, he's an athletic presence inside at both ends of the floor. Defensively, he can slide his feet and block shots. And offensively, he's a guy who kind of hangs out on the weak side and finishes plays by catching and dunking.
Second free throw, no good.
The Spurs have always been very mindful of resting key players during the regular season. Some of it has to do with the age of their players. Some of it is regarding talent because they knew they were a playoff team most years. And you look at the research, there is something to be said for not playing guys when they're fatigued because injuries are more likely if you play tired.
Diaw with it. There's the double team with Allen. Diaw dishes to Parker. Leonard and Shane Battier gets the whistle that time. That's foul number 2 for him. And back to the Spurs and their strategy of resting their star players, not without some controversy. The NBA, as you may recall, fined the Spurs and Coach Popovich for sitting all their starting players for a nationally televised game back in November.
Well, it was their 4th game in 5 nights, and Pop wanted to rest some of their guys because of just the nature of their schedule. But I think the problem was he didn't give the league advance warning. And that game against Miami, when he rested those 3 players, he actually sent them home. And I think that was a little shot at the league. And that's why there was a problem, and that's why the Spurs and Popovich ended up getting fined.
On defense, the Heat trailing by 4. And the basket good.
I'll tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
Well, that's the key to basketball. Get the ball inside into the paint, either with a pass or with penetration.